Good evening and welcome. I am Shafa Belayed. Some people think that ChatGPT is a monster and they have their own reasons to fear. Others have feared to lose their jobs because he is taking control over everything. In the other hand, AI, artificial intelligence, have no faith, no beliefs because he has not a conscience. So can AI, artificial intelligence, discover the scientific miracle in the Qur'an and compare them with that came in the Bible and Torah? So in this evening, and using artificial intelligence AI, we will try to shed light on the matter of Quranic miracles that talks about different science, such as evidence of the existence of the name Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam, to the world in the Bible and Torah. Muslims theologians have argued that a number of specific passages within the biblical text can be specifically identified as references to Muhammad, both in Hebrew Bible Old Testament and in the Christian New Testament. Several verses in the Quran as well as several hadiths states that Muhammad is really described in the Bible. We will even ask ChatGPT about the oceans, the creation of the heavens, embryonic development, healing miracles found in bees' honey, and other topics. Our work today with the assistance of AI is trying to know in details about the few miracles in Quran, and let's begin. What GPT says about all of that? Let's see our first question. I want to know if it's scientifically true the verse he had created man from a clinging substance.
Verse he has created man from a clinging substance, Qur'an 96:2, is often interpreted as a reference to the initial stages of human embryonic development. In modern science, it is well established that human development begins with the fusion of a sperm and an egg, which creates a fertilized egg or zygote. This zygote then begins to divide and form into a ball of cells known as a blastocyst. Around 7 to 10 days after fertilization, the blastocyst attaches to the uterine wall in a process known as implantation. During this process, the outer layer of the blastocyst, known as the trophoblast, begins to form finger-like projections known as chorionic villi, which help to anchor the blastocyst to the uterine lining. It is at this stage that the human embryo could be described as a clinging substance. Therefore, from a scientific perspective, it is possible to see a connection between the Quranic verse and the initial stages of human embryonic development. However, it's worth noting that the language and interpretation of religious texts can be subjective, and the meaning of this verse may be interpreted in different ways by different people.
Let me explain to you. Alaq. Alaq is derived from the verb attached or to stick to something, which means that a human in the fertilized egg stage has moved from the ovary towards a path with a downward slope. If it has not been attached or sticked, it would have fallen. And the reason why it's sticked is to get nourished and get food from mother blood. So therefore, by the end, we do not need other interpretation from any other scholars. If this fact is a fact of science based on the concept of logic, numbers, statistics, etc. Thus, the meaning of this verse may not be interpreted in different ways by different people, but by science, because it's a matter of science, isn't it?
Thank you for your explanation. It is true that the word 9dp can be translated as clinging or attached, and that the process of implantation is crucial for the survival and nourishment of the developing embryo. It is also true that scientific understanding of human embryonic development supports the concept of the embryo as a clinging substance during its early stages of development. However, I must clarify that the interpretation of religious texts is not solely based on scientific evidence or logic, but can also be influenced by cultural and historical context, personal beliefs, and philosophical considerations. Therefore, different people may still interpret the Quranic verse differently, even if scientific evidence supports a particular interpretation. It is important to recognize that science and religion are not mutually exclusive, and that both can contribute to our understanding of the world around us.
I want to know, please, if the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, really mentioned in the Bible and Torah. Thank you.
The figure of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is not mentioned by name in the Bible or the Torah, as he is a historical figure who emerged several centuries after the events described in those texts. However, some scholars have suggested that there are certain passages in the Bible and Torah that could be interpreted as references to the coming of Prophet Muhammad. For example, in the Gospel of John 16:7-14, Jesus predicts the coming of a comforter or advocate who will guide the people to the truth. Some Muslim scholars interpret this as a reference to Prophet Muhammad, who is believed to have brought the final revelation of Islam to humanity. Similarly, in the book of Deuteronomy 18:15-19, 5:15, Moses predicts the coming of a prophet like himself, whom God will raise up from among the Israelites. Some scholars interpret this as a reference to Prophet Muhammad, who is believed to have been descended from Ishmael, the son of Abraham and Hagar. However, it's important to note that these interpretations are not universally accepted, and there is much debate among scholars about the validity of these claims. Ultimately, the question of whether Prophet Muhammad is mentioned in the Bible or Torah is a matter of interpretation and belief.
About Song of the Songs, please. Thank you.
Song of Songs, also known as the Song of Solomon, is a book in the Old Testament of the Bible. It is a collection of love poems that describe the relationship between a man and a woman, and many scholars interpret the book as an allegory for the relationship between God and the people of Israel. There is no explicit reference to Prophet Muhammad in the Song of Songs, as the book was written several centuries before his birth. However, some scholars have suggested that certain passages in the book could be interpreted as referring to the coming of a great prophet or leader in the future. For example, in Song of Songs 5:16, the woman describes her beloved as his mouth is sweetness itself. He is altogether lovely. This is my beloved, this is my friend, daughters of Jerusalem. Some Muslim scholars interpret this as a reference to Prophet Muhammad, who is believed to have been known for his eloquence and his message of love and compassion. Similarly, in Song of Songs 3:6-11, the woman describes the coming of a great king who is adorned with gold and silver and surrounded by his army. Some scholars interpret this as a reference to the coming of Prophet Muhammad, who is believed to have been a great leader and military commander. However, as with other interpretations of biblical texts, these claims are subject to debate and interpretation, and there is no universally accepted agreement among scholars about their validity.
How can that be? I said, you see, what has happened is this. First, that Muhammad is mentioned by name in the original scriptures. The Old Testament, according to Christian authorities, was preserved in the Hebrew language, and the New Testament in Greek scriptures, Greek language. In the Old Testament, in the Song of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 16, in the Hebrew language, it reads, I'm sure Brother Swaggart would appreciate it, because I thought I heard him say that he knows Hebrew and he knows Greek. In the Hebrew language, it says, Hikko mamitakim vi kullo Muhammadim zahdudi vi zahrei bainat Jerusalem. Song of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 16. The word Muhammadim is Muhammad, im, I am im. Im is a plural of respect in Hebrew. You see the first verse of the Bible, book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 1. It says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The word God in Hebrew there is Elohim. In Hebrew, El stands for God, Elah stands for God, Elohim is a plural form to say with awe, respect and reverence, plural of respect. In all Eastern languages, including Arabic and Hebrew, there are two types of plurals. In my own mother tongue, we have plural of respect as well as of numbers. In Urdu, plural of respect as well as numbers.
This is one of several sessions in which we ask artificial intelligence AI for many apparent and hidden miracles in the Holy Quran in several fields. In the next session we will try to know what says Quran about the seven heavens and the atoms in a series that will cover many scientific fields. Thank you for watching. Hope it was helpful to make your own views and judgments about religion and will have the ability to discover right from wrong. It's important to free your mind from the influence of incorrect beliefs, traditions, and customs that are based on assumptions and doubt. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your kind attention and see you next time. Goodbye.